The ceremony was minutes away when Xiao Nanshu texted, "Vivian's in the hospital. Let's postpone." My makeup artist flinched and dotted a beauty mark between my brows. I didn't blink. I called Nanshu's mortal enemy. Missing a groom. In? Before we go on, subscribe and drop your city in the comments. Serena, the board's locked down, Dad said. The man who'd ridden me my whole life actually sounded grateful. The live stream is genius, way better than a press conference. The second it went live and they saw it was a Shaw-Vance merger, the fossil shut up. I stared at the stranger in the mirror, a bride with zero sparkle in her eyes. Because 30 seconds earlier the same text had landed, "Vivian's in the hospital. Let's postpone." My heart went arctic. I'd rehearsed this disaster so many times that when it finally showed up I felt only a grim little told you so. My best friend Lana exploded. "Postpone? Is Nanshu brain dead? The livestream is rolling and he wants a rain check?" She spun in furious circles, mascara racing down her cheeks. When she caught my blank face she hugged me and sobbed. "Serena, that scumbag knows what today costs you. What do we do?" Good question. Vance had bled red ink for 2 straight quarters, a coup was brewing. My girls don't count father had yanked me off the bench to play sacrificial lamb. Yesterday Nanshu had sworn he'd stand by me. Today, 1 text, 0 presents. Lana's eyeliner was now abstract art. "My kid brother's outside, want me to drag him in? We'll tell people it's a Lin Vance alliance." I half laughed, half hugged her. "He only turned 18 last week, spare him." "Thanks for staying. Let me think." I speed dialed a number I'd never expected to use. "That favor, still valid?" A low, almost bored baritone answered. "Yes." I bit my lip. "My wedding's in 20, groom bolted. Emergency rescue?" The voice snapped awake. "Absolutely. One condition." I mentally auctioned off every Vance asset the Caldwell heir might fancy. His taste is legendary. What came back? K was, after the reception you grab your ID and meet me at City Hall. Huh? He was practically purring now. "We file for a real marriage certificate. No fake vows." My brain BSOD'd. Caldwell's prince is famously allergic to women. How did he know Nanshu and I were only staging a wedding? I ran the math on the Caldwell fortune. "I'll sign whatever prenup you draft." He laughed, rich, delighted. "No prenup." My jaw unhinged. He's willing to risk half the Caldwell empire just to twist the knife in his rival? "Serena, who are you marrying?" Lana whispered when I hung up, tears waterfalling. I squeezed her hand. "Stop looking like I just sold a kidney. I'm not that cheap." We stepped onto the balcony. Below, the garden wedding I'd dreamed of filled with guests, every chair, every ribbon picked by Nanshu. The live crew kept narrating like nothing had happened. The dress? He chose it. The ring? He designed it. Each posy on the lawn? Approved by him, one by one. And he still bailed. Texts kept popping, his voice messages floating through the suite. "Serena, you're the sensible one. I'll make it up to you. Vivian won't let the surgeons touch her unless I'm there. Be good, we'll redo this later." I'd reminded him 100 times yesterday how critical today was. He'd kissed my forehead and told me to relax and glow. How could I? Vivian had even WhatsApped me yesterday. "Guess what? If I crash my car on your big day, will Nanshu marry you or hold my hand?" I wanted the answer. So I gambled. 15 minutes later the event team had erased every trace of groom number 1. Guests buzzed. "Wait, new groom? Shaw-Vance merger hit a snag?" The livestream lead tiptoed over. "Vance, keep rolling?" "Yes." "Skip the swap segment." Dad rang, apoplectic. "You little idiot. Nanshu ditched you, didn't he? The board says you subbed in a stand-in. I told you not to livestream, now the planet knows you were dumped." I inhaled till my ribs creaked. Dad, the one who broke his word was Nanshu. Screw that. Crawl to him, on your knees if you must, drag him back. Click. Dial tone. Same old song. The crew chief cleared his throat. "Vance, want a technical malfunction?" I blinked. "Aren't you guys a startup? One stunt like that and your rep is toast." He shrugged, grinning. "Small fish can swim again." Your wedding, though, sounds like hell. Even strangers were plotting rescue missions, while the men who claimed to love me were MIA. Then commotion rippled across the lawn. My eyes stung when I saw who strode through the hedge arch. "Groom's here, you can stream in peace," Adrian called. He crossed the grass like he owned gravity itself. Maybe it was the backlighting, but the man looked guilt-edged. "The groom is me," he announced, voice rolling to the last row. "Caldwell and Vance request the honor of your..." His gaze swept the aisles, the crowd forgot how to breathe. 20 minutes later the quartet launched into the processional. I drew one long breath and stepped onto the runner. Sun high, sky flawless. I walked past familiar faces and halted. Old man Caldwell sat front row, flanked by Adrian's parents, his sister, every Caldwell in existence. At the arbor Adrian waited, black suit knife sharp, eyes burning with something I couldn't read. I stopped in front of him and looked up. Adrian stood tall, so tall that, beside him, I felt positively tiny. I blinked hard, forcing back the tears. Thank you, Adrian. He gave my hand a gentle squeeze. The honor's all mine. When the rings were slid on, I froze. This wasn't the band Braden had fussed over for months. The new one was cleaner, bolder, and the diamond was a full carat larger. I whistled silently, trust Caldwell, Eastbrook's top dynasty, to whip out a rock worth more than most condos. It fit perfectly, too, as if it had been measured for me yesterday. Another blink. You may now kiss your bride. I spaced out for a second. Sure, I'd always known Adrian had the looks, the money, the resume, every parent's dream son-in-law. But right now, with that dangerously handsome face closing in, my pulse went haywire. Whose heartbeat was hammering against whose ribs, I couldn't tell. Adrian's mouth tilted in a half-smile. Serena, close your eyes. In front of the entire garden, I let my lids fall. His lips brushed mine, soft, quick, then he threaded our fingers together. One more, the crowd roared. I opened my eyes to find Adrian's ears crimson. He flashed the guests a smug grin. That's my wife you're gawking at, keep dreaming. Heat rushed to my cheeks, I couldn't meet his gaze. Only one thought ricocheted in my head, Adrian looks carved from granite, so why are his lips that pillowy? Outside City Hall, my brain was still buffering. We'd just, boom, legal? Back in the car, Adrian flipped our 2 marriage certificates over and over, smile welded in place. I fidgeted beside him. CEO Cheen, he finally looked up, cleared his throat. We're legit now, you can upgrade the nickname. Before I could answer, beep beep. A license plate I knew too well. Braden stepped out, tapped my window. Well, fancy meeting Riverdale's crown prince here. Adrian dropped the glass, face stone cold. On impulse, I dove into his chest. Braden smirked. Lucky you, Cheen, your little girlfriend's enthusiastic. Adrian hesitated, then stroked my hair. Back to Braden, expression flat. Allow me, my wife, newly certified. Braden's eyebrows shot up. Since when? News to me. Without waiting, he added, today was supposed to be mine and Serena's, got derailed. I'm here to apologize. Adrian scoffed, hand still resting on my head like a shield. Curled against him, I felt safe, absurdly safe. Braden squinted. She looks familiar, aren't you going to introduce Cheen? I stiffened, about to lift my face, when his phone rang. What? Vivian's awake? On my way. He jogged off with a curt nod. I snorted. See? That easy to shuffle off. Add me on WhatsApp, wife. Adrian offered his QR code. The pet name scattered my gloom. I scrambled for my phone. EAD. Sorry, battery flat. He chuckled. Sounds suspiciously like a brush off. Hired an hour ago, already fired? He tilted his head. Kidding. Let's go see the house. See what? Giant question mark in my brain. CEO Cheen, candidly, papers signed, what exactly do you need? Shield? Smokescreen? He went quiet, ears reddening. When he spoke, it was almost reverent. Serena, this may sound rushed, but I won't hide it. I'm beyond grateful you dialed me in that moment. And thank you for giving me the chance, under marriage license, to court you for real. Straight pitch, no wind-up. A gorgeous, loaded, brilliant man saying he wants to chase me, after signing the certificate that also fixes every corporate fire I'm standing in. Cinderella stock ending, right? I swallowed. You know my baggage, right? I add zero synergy to Caldwell. His eyes glittered. Caldwell heirs don't earn their rep by being clueless. I know everything, probably more than you think. It's late, this place is closest. Crash here tonight, tomorrow we hit the estate, okay? I followed him out of the car in silence. The penthouse was freakishly perfect, layout, skincare stash, midnight snacks, each detail lifted from my mental Pinterest. Phone charged, notifications detonated. It rang, I stared, then picked up. Sweetie, when did you hook CEO Cheen? You didn't give Dad a heads up. Ask him if Vance can buy into that Eastbrook project. Adrian caught my wince, tapped speaker. Vance, Adrian here. Serena's beat, talk to me. Dad's voice dripped syrup I'd never heard before. Of course, CEO Cheen. Come for dinner soon, both of you. The phone buzzed again, Braden's name, relentless. Exhaustion punched me in the knees. Adrian powered the phone off, scooped me up, and settled us on the sofa. Serena, rest. Nothing trumps your health. Sleep, I'm right here. I slept like the dead. Woke up still cradled in his arms. When I shifted, he patted me half asleep. I studied his face, an odd flicker of déjà vu. His eyes opened, He pecked my forehead. Morning, wifey, then dozed off again, smooth, practiced. I heard him mumble, today's wife feels real, cute, fun to kiss. Weird, arms kinda numb. I burst out laughing. He rolled over, suddenly rigid. Morning. Rested, I met his gaze and grinned. Morning, hubby. Starlight seemed to explode in his eyes, his ears went instant scarlet. Serena, the whole family already adores you. The Caldwell estate visit went shockingly smooth, everyone warm, no side eyes. Even Caldwell, the man who could make Riverdale tremble, beamed, finally someone to tame this rascal, don't you ditch him. Braden's parents' past sneers felt like fossils. Near the exit, Adrian strolled me through the rose garden. Braden, winded, burst through the gates. The moment he saw Adrian's hand intertwined with mine, his eyes went bloodshot. Serena, Adrian's already married, how could you throw yourself at him? You'd rather be his mistress than wait for me? I told you, I'll make the wedding up to you another day. Adrian's gaze turned arctic. He stepped in front of me like a shield. Come at me. What kind of man bullies my wife? Xiaonanchu froze, disbelief written across his face. Your wife? Cut it out. There's no way Serena is your wife. She grew up with me, every heartbeat set on marrying me. His eyes reddened further, tiny crimson threads creeping across the whites. Serena, tell Adrian we're the ones getting married, right? He looked at me with pure pleading, begging for the word yes. I moved half a step forward and tightened my grip on Adrian's hand. We already picked up our marriage certificate. I, Serena, am Adrian's lawful, fully documented, family-approved wife. The light in Xiaonanchu's eyes died. He looked devastated, voice unsteady. So, you didn't cancel the ceremony? You used the garden I decorated down to the last rose and married Adrian in front of the whole live stream? The silhouette I saw in Adrian's car that day, was that really you? Serena, How could you do this to me? Watching his panic, I found it hilarious, so hilarious tears rolled down my cheeks. Why? You really have to ask? Dance is on the brink of bankruptcy. I needed a merger wedding to pacify the board, did that escape you? If I couldn't marry you, my dear father was shipping me off to 60-something Davis for capital, did that slip your mind? The ceremony was streaming live, postponing wasn't on the menu, didn't that register? I laughed until I cried. Adrian watched me with aching eyes, thumb gently brushing the tears away. Xiaonanchu, you knew every single fact. You backed me into a corner, then have the nerve to ask why? If you'd cared 1 ounce, you would have realized I married Adrian that very afternoon. Xiaonanchu's face went paper white. I thought what? He looked dazed. What had he been doing back then? Oh, right, Vivian's car accident. He told himself it was the last time. He'd already indulged Vivian so many times, always ignoring Serena's feelings. Surely that repaid the Shaw debt to the Sue family. After Vivian's surgery he'd run to Serena, apologize, replan the wedding. He would give her the grandest, flawless garden ceremony ever seen. Seeing him lost in the past, I decided to finish it. Xiaonanchu, no one from the Shaw family showed up. Vivian WhatsApped me the night before, she already knew she'd have that crash. They all seemed certain you and I would never end up married. Without waiting for him to crumble, I walked out of the Caldwell estate hand in hand with Adrian. Adrian, am I kind of useless? Back home, the floodgates opened. Mom's critically ill, but I'm powerless, watching the mistress waltz in with her love child. The guy I trusted since sandbox days dropped me the second it mattered. I worked, I grew, yet dad still bartered me like inventory. Adrian pulled me into a slow, firm hug. Serena, you've done phenomenally. A sword is sharpened on the whetstone, corny but true, and it fits you rig. HT now. Every setback you've survived will end up sparkle and edge on the blade that is you. I've reviewed every project you ran, each one shows growth. You've been clawing your way out from under Vance's shadow long before today. He kept talking, calm, steady, until the storm inside me quieted. Yes, what's done is done, no point letting yesterday chain my ankles. Time to lock my eyes forward. Reading the shift in me, Adrian tipped my chin. Serena, I'm selfish, I want you to lean on me more. Whatever you tackle, remember I'm right here. The moment the words left his lips he stood up. I blinked, confused. Minutes later he returned with a stack of papers and dropped to one knee. Serena, I've imagined proposing 1,000 times, never daring to hope you'd say yes. Maybe the universe took pity and tossed me this miracle. This is an outright gift deed, every asset I own transferred to you, no strings. Will you marry me? I opened the file, the asset schedule alone felt heavier than a phone book. Adrian's net worth is staggering, no wonder Riverdale calls him the Crown Prince. I was moved, but I closed the folder. Why? Piece by piece, his story resurrected a me I'd nearly forgotten. Back when Mom was still around, she was neurotically protective. A sniffle equaled an ER run. One time we took a wrong turn and I wandered into the opposite suite, an airy private room with a pale, exquisite boy asleep in the bed. He was too pretty, I sneaked a kiss. Better yet, the room overflowed with candy and toys. From then on I begged to go to the hospital. We'd eat, play, watch color return to his cheeks. We even pinky swore to stay friends forever. Then at 9 Mom fell gravely ill and faded fast. Dad quickly imported a new missus and a little brother my age. No one escorted me to my hospital playdates anymore. I actually looked for you later, Adrian admitted, voice tentative. But Xiao Nanchu was already orbiting you. I regretted missing my shot, so I kept watch from a distance. A penny dropped. So that gala, when I accidentally saved you from a roofied drink, you set that up? He smiled. No setup. I wasn't going to intrude. Call it heaven's nudge, giving me a second chance. I jumped at the offer to owe you one favor, anything. I told myself, if you never cashed it in, I'd stay a ghost. The second you used it, I'd storm the castle. I met his gaze, pure, unwavering, a silent vortex dragging me home. Who could refuse love that asks for nothing yet offers everything? I brushed a kiss across his lashes. Yes. In the small hours I paid dearly for those 3 syllables. Wholesome? Cold and aloof? Lies, all lies, my spine still hasn't forgiven him. Our relationship shifted into hyperdrive. Then Lin Lang asked gingerly, Serena, any recent contact with Xiao Nanchu? I blinked. Blocked and deleted ages ago. Why? Lin Lang exhaled. He's unraveling. After our confrontation he went home and burned with fever for days. Vivian never left his bedside. The moment the fever broke they detonated. He accused her of sabotage. She said he knew exactly what he was doing. He's also at war with his parents, convinced they guilt-tripped him under the banner of family honor. According to Lin Lang, he's spamming Instagram with old photos of us. Friends tried intervention, now they just watch him marinate in the past. Since marrying Adrian, Dad has upgraded me from brat to precious daughter, complete with daily check-in calls and syrupy concern. I never talked back, I just sat quietly and let him perform. I used to think Vance was an unshakable oak, and that avenging Mom meant hacking through a thorn forest. Now I realize I was the frog at the bottom of a well. Adrian lined up tutors in every field, and under his watch I soaked up knowledge like a sponge. One afternoon I was drowning in a merger model when Dad called out of the blue, Sweetheart, I hear the young Caldwell heir has his eye on that West Side parcel. Be a doll and ask him if it's true. I glanced at Adrian, who was still reading the file. Think I heard him mention it. The moment I hung up, Adrian, uncharacteristically, asked, Wife, what are you planning for Vance? I shot him a look. I'm handling it myself, so keep your hands off. He rubbed his nose, guilty. If I've already leaked the rumor, will you be mad? Mad? No. You'll just sleep in the guest room for a month. Baby, I was wrong. Adrian kissed me pitifully, then carried me back to the master bedroom while I was still distracted. Sure enough, when the West Side plot hit the online auction block, Vance showed up. Vance bid $2 billion, I countered with 2.5. I pushed them all the way to their hard ceiling, 8.5 billion, then dropped out and let Vance win. Dad called, ecstatic, Sweetheart, that pillow talk was priceless. Caldwell never misreads land, and you got them to hand it to us on a platter. Half the city is green with envy, haha. I smiled softly. Glad you're happy. Adrian had been right. For an empire like Vance, the very trait that built it can tear it down. When Mom and Dad first hustled, sharp executives rode the wave and catapulted Vance upward. But when the top dog loses his mind, a single cash hemorrhage can be fatal. Next morning every finance headline screamed, Vance up Eastbrook's Westside jewel lot for 8.5 billion. I stared at the photo of Dad and his illegitimate son grinning for the cameras, radiating triumph during their TV interview, and asked Adrian, he's old enough to know better. Why does he still believe pies fall from the sky? Adrian pretended to ponder, then answered solemnly, either my wife drew him an extra flaky pie, or Chairman Vance is just that greedy. I rolled my eyes and blocked Dad's number. Lena's frantic call woke me. I'd been dreaming about bankruptcy filings. Serena, how can you still be asleep? Your scumbag dad is trashing you everywhere. I opened my messages, she'd spammed me with links. Same story every time, poor Dev. Oded father raised his daughter single-handedly, only to be betrayed now that she's married. Love-addled Serena ganged up with Caldwell to swindle Vance, wiping out their mega investment. The comments were a carnival. Love brain is scary. You'd sell out family for a guy? Parasite. Leeching is fun, huh? Wait, isn't she the Vance heiress who live-streamed her wedding? Gotta say, her face is my type. Netizens are brilliant, the takes kept me howling. I lay on the bed, shaking with laughter at one zinger, when Adrian burst in and wrapped me up from behind. Wasn't he at the office? His arms were trembling. He gently took my phone. Don't cry, baby. I'm on it. Huh? I couldn't flatten my grin. I turned slowly and met his panic with an innocent blink. Don't court disaster if you can't take the fallout. I decided to pay Dad back in his own currency. I booked several top outlets plus a solid livestream platform and teased the broadcast in advance. The hype blew past my expectations. Seconds after we went live, 1 million viewers crashed in. I laid out the receipts, one by one. Item 1, my birth certificate and the bastards, 2 months apart. Item 2, mom's medical chart, holes and red flags from diagnosis to death. Item 3, every project I steered while at Vance. People call me Workhorse Serena for a reason. The company's core divisions were built under my watch. Item 4, the West Side Dirt File. The lot once hosted a lab. A containment failure poisoned the soil so badly it's unfit for any resale, let alone homes. I even clipped Vance's own marketing page promising luxury condos there. After the first 3 folders the chat was popcorn emojis and side-eyed gossip. Then folder 4 dropped and the room exploded. Vance is selling toxic land as family housing? Scum. Deep contamination? Kids would grow third eyes. Boycott Vance, starting now. I logged off. Evidence uploaded. Darling Dad, your freedom now has an expiration date. Play the public opinion card A. Andy, you'd better budget for blowback. The uproar detonated exactly as planned. Partners stampeded to cancel Vance contracts. The police opened a criminal probe. Dad burned through burner phones and mutual acquaintances trying to reach me. I never answered. Adrian kept me wrapped in cotton wool. At a charity gala weeks later, an unexpected woman blocked my path, Vivian. I hadn't spoken to Trevor Shaw in ages. Actually, I'd cut him off single-handedly. Vivian looked me up and down and sneered, must be nice, landing on your feet every time. I blinked, clueless. She seemed desperate for any ear, so I followed her onto the balcony and heard the other half of the story. She and Trevor had been legally married for years. She loved him even before I did. Leveraging her family's old favor to the Shaws, she'd had the patriarch lock in the match. Trevor kept refusing to go public, so she played along. What she never calculated was that he would fall for me for real. When he asked her for a divorce so he could marry me, she unraveled. Learning we'd set a wedding date, she staged the car crash herself. Suddenly his parents' undisguised disdain at every meeting made sense. Suddenly his willingness to stage our lavish garden wedding while stalling on the marriage certificate made sense. I'd always tagged Vivian as the homewrecker. Turns out I was the intruder all along. Trevor swore he loved me, yet he let me become the one thing I despised, the other woman. I craved Adrian so badly it hurt. I walked out of the ballroom speed dialing him. Babe, come pick me up. Charity party's not fun anymore? I just miss you. I'll be there in 5. Love you, hubby. Love you too, wifey. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed it, smash that like and share it with friends. Drop your thoughts in the comments, we love hearing from you. Subscribe for more juicy tales and we'll catch you next episode.